She stood in front of 100 people and pointed at me. She said, "Someone please remove this embarrassing man from my event." I straightened my jacket, smiled, and walked out slowly. Because in exactly 3 days, she was going to walk into my office and beg for everything. My name is Daniel, and I am not the kind of man people notice when he walks into a room. I dress simply. I speak quietly. I never told anyone what I had or what I could do. That was always my choice. I met Mia when she was nobody. Not in a cruel way, just the truth. She was a girl with a big voice and empty pockets, singing at a small cafe on a rainy Thursday night. I sat in the corner with my coffee and I listened. And I knew she had something the world had not seen yet. So I stayed. I paid her rent when she could not. I booked her vocal coach every Saturday morning. I sat with her until 2 in the morning helping her pick songs for her demo. She thought I was just a simple man who loved her. She was right about the love. She was wrong about the simple part. There was one night she asked me why my phone never stopped ringing. I told her it was work. She laughed and said, "Daniel, you work too hard for too little?" I just smiled and said nothing. I was not ready to show her that world yet. I wanted her to love me first, just me. The man in the simple jacket. The man nobody looked at twice. She did love me. For a while. This is the story of a man who loved in silence. And won in silence. And made sure she heard it. The first time I saw Mia, she was wearing a yellow dress with a small tear at the sleeve. She had patched it so carefully that you could only see it if you were really looking. I was looking. Not because of the tear. Because of the way she stood on that small stage like it was the biggest one in the world. She sang 3 songs that night. The crowd was small and mostly uninterested. People talked over her. One man near the door laughed loudly at something on his phone the entire time. But Mia never flinched. She closed her eyes and sang like every word mattered. Because to her, every word did. I waited until she came off stage. I bought her a cup of tea and told her she was talented. She laughed and said, "Talented does not pay rent." I asked her what she needed. She looked at me like it was a strange question. Nobody had ever asked her that before. That was the beginning. Her apartment at the time was a single room with a window that would not close properly. Winter came through that window like it owned the place. I arranged a better place quietly. Told her an old friend owed me a favor. She believed me because she wanted to believe someone was finally in her corner. I was. Completely. The vocal coach was next. A woman named Ms. Yoon, strict, experienced, and exactly what Mia needed. I paid 3 months up front. Told Mia it was a scholarship program for upcoming artists. She cried when she heard that. Held my hand and said, "Daniel, I do not know what I did to deserve you." I did not answer. I just squeezed her hand. The demo recordings took 4 months. Every Saturday morning I dropped her at the studio and waited outside with coffee. She would come out exhausted and glowing at the same time, the way people look when they are doing exactly what they were born to do. I watched her grow week by week. Her voice got stronger. Her confidence got bigger. Her eyes started carrying something they did not have before, belief. She never asked how I was paying for all of it. Not once. And I never told her. Not because I was hiding something wrong, but because I understood something important. When people know you have money, they stop seeing you. They start seeing the money. I wanted Mia to see me. Just me. She called me her safe place during those months. Late at night when the pressure got heavy, she would call and say, "Daniel, talk to me." And I would talk. About anything. About nothing. Just so she could sleep. I was not her manager. Not her investor. Not her sponsor. I was the man who believed in her before she believed in herself. That should have been enough. There is a moment in every talented person's life when the right door opens at exactly the right time. Most people call it luck. I call it preparation meeting opportunity. The difference is, luck happens to you. Opportunity is something you build quietly while everyone else is sleeping. I heard about the auditions through a contact I had been working with for 2 years. Black Soul Entertainment, one of the most respected labels in the industry, was opening its doors to new artists. One open audition. One shot. Hundreds of people would show up. Only 3 would be chosen. I made one phone call. Gave one name. Mia's name was on the list the next morning. I never told her how it got there. What I told her was simple. I said, "Mia, there is an audition next month. I think you should go." She froze. Then she started listing every reason why she was not ready. Her voice was not strong enough. Her stage presence needed work. She did not have the right songs. I sat across from her and let her finish every single excuse. Then I said, "Are you done?" She blinked. I said, "Good. Now let us get to work." We had 4 weeks. I drew up a simple plan the same way you would build a house, foundation first and everything else on top. The foundation was confidence. Everything else, song selection, stage movement, vocal control, all of it means nothing if the person performing does not believe they belong on that stage. So every single night I sat with Mia and I reminded her of what I saw the first night in that small cafe. I described it back to her in detail. The yellow dress, the torn sleeve, the crowd that was not paying attention, and the girl who sang anyway. By week 2 her voice had shifted. Something unlocked. Ms. Yu noticed it too. She called me privately and said, "Whatever you are doing, keep doing it." The night before the audition, Mia could not sleep. She called me at 1 in the morning and said her hands would not stop shaking. I told her that shaking hands meant the body understood that something important was about to happen. I told her to let them shake. Just do not let them stop her. She walked into that audition room the next morning, and she did not just perform. She took over. 3 songs. Every note landed. The panel of judges, people who had heard thousands of voices, sat forward in their chairs. My phone rang 40 minutes later. She was screaming so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. She kept saying, "Daniel, I got in, I cannot believe it, I got in." I smiled and said, "I can. I always could." I meant every word. What I did not know was that the door I had just opened for her would be the same door she would one day use to walk away from me. Fame is a strange thing. It does not arrive all at once. It creeps in slowly, like water finding its way through a small crack in a wall. At first the crack is so small you barely notice it. Then one morning you wake up and the whole wall is wet. That is exactly what happened to Mia. The first month inside Black Soul Entertainment she was still herself. She would call me after every training session, excited and exhausted at the same time. She would tell me about the choreography, the vocal exercises, the other trainees. She laughed the same way, talked the same way, felt the same way. But by the second month something small started shifting. The calls got shorter. The stories got fewer. She started using words I had never heard her use before, words that belonged to a world I was not part of. She mentioned names constantly. Jisoo this, Hyunwoo that. A stylist named Yuna who had completely changed how she thought about fashion. I listened to all of it and said nothing. I told myself it was growth. And growth is always good. Then came the new clothes. The simple yellow dress with the torn sleeve was gone. In its place were outfits that cost more than her old monthly rent. Her hair changed. Her walk changed. Even the way she answered the phone changed, slower, more careful, like she was always aware that someone might be watching. I did not judge any of it. People evolve. That is not a crime. But then she started canceling. Small things at first. A dinner we had planned. A Saturday morning coffee that had been our routine for almost a year. She always had a reason. Rehearsal ran late. A last-minute schedule change. She was too tired. I accepted every reason because I trusted her completely. Trust is like that. It fills in the gaps without asking too many questions. Then she invited me to her first industry showcase. I showed up in my usual clothes, clean, simple, nothing dramatic. I spotted her across the room laughing with a group of people in expensive outfits. When she saw me, her smile did not disappear completely. But it changed. Just for a second. A flicker. The kind of look a person gives when something they used to be proud of now makes them uncomfortable. She walked me to a corner quickly. Stayed 5 minutes. Then said she had to get back to her team. I stood in that corner alone for a while, watching her move through that room like she had always belonged there. Confident. Glowing. Completely at home in a world she had not known 1 year ago. I was proud of her. Genuinely. But somewhere deep and quiet inside me, a place I did not want to look at directly, I already knew. The crack in the wall was getting wider, and I was standing on the wrong side of it. There is a type of person who enters a room and immediately needs everyone in it to know they have arrived. They are loud without saying anything important. They shine without producing any real light. They are attractive in the way that cheap jewelry is attractive, bright and convincing from a distance. But get close enough and you can see exactly what it is made of. That was Kai. He was an upcoming idol with a sharp jawline, a managed smile and a team of people whose only job was to make sure he always looked like the most important person in any space he entered. He had released 2 songs. Both had done well. Not because they were exceptional, but because the machine behind him was powerful and loud. He wore his small success like a man who had conquered the world. He met Mia at an industry dinner in the 3rd month of her training. I was not there. I was never invited to those dinners anymore. From what I later pieced together, he walked straight up to her, told her she was the most talented new artist he had seen in years, told her she deserved to be at the top, told her that people like her did not need to hold on to things that were pulling them backwards. Things. He called people like me things. And Mia listened. I do not say that with anger. I say it with the clarity of a man who has had a long time to think about it. Mia was at a point in her life where she was becoming someone new every single day. And Kai said exactly the words that new person needed to hear. He was flashy where I was quiet. He was loud where I was still. He offered her a reflection of the world she was stepping into. I was still a reflection of the world she was trying to leave behind. The calls stopped gradually. 1 missed call became 2. 2 became 5. 5 became silence. I told myself she was busy. I told myself the industry was demanding. I told myself she just needed time. Then one Tuesday evening my phone lit up with a message. Not a call. A message. 12 words. I think we should stop. You and I are in different worlds now. I read it once. Just once. I did not read it again. I did not call. I did not reply. I did not sit on the floor or stare at the ceiling or ask the universe why. I had built too much of my life on discipline to fall apart over 12 words from someone who did not have the courage to say them out loud. I put my phone face down on the desk. And I went back to work. Because here is what Mia never understood about me. Grief was not going to stop what I was building. Nothing was. Not even her. I want to be honest about why I went that night. It was not to win her back. It was not to make a scene or remind her of everything I had done. I went because there was still a part of me that had watched her sing in a small cafe in a yellow dress with a torn sleeve, and that part of me wanted to see how far she had come. One last time. Quietly. From the back of the room. That is all it was. Her first major public showcase was held at one of the most beautiful event spaces in the city. Glass walls. Soft lighting. The kind of room that makes everyone inside it feel important. There were cameras, industry people, journalists and fans pressed against the barriers outside. Mia had come a long way from that rainy Thursday night, and a crowd that was not paying attention. I arrived late on purpose and stood near the back. I wore what I always wear, clean, simple, nothing that asked for attention. I watched her take the stage and I felt something settle in my chest. Pride. Genuine and uncomplicated. Whatever had happened between us, she had worked hard for this moment, and she deserved it completely. She performed 2 songs. She was extraordinary. I was already turning to leave when I saw Kai lean close to her at the side of the stage. He said something in her ear and his eyes were pointed directly at me. Mia followed his gaze across the room. Our eyes met for just a second. I gave her a small nod. The kind that says, I see you. I am proud of you. Nothing more. She looked away. Then she walked to the microphone. The room quieted down, expecting her to introduce her next song. Instead, she looked toward the back of the room. Toward me. And in a clear, calm voice that carried to every corner of that beautiful glass space, she said, "Security, please remove that man. He does not belong here." For one full second nobody moved. Then the laughter started. Quiet at first. Then louder. Kai was smiling with his arms crossed. People around me shifted away like I was something embarrassing left behind by accident. I stood completely still. Then I reached up slowly and straightened my jacket. I looked at her one last time across that crowded room. And I smiled. Not a painful smile. Not a broken smile. The smile of a man who has just been shown something he needed to see. I turned and walked out. Slowly. Without a single word. The cold air outside hit my face the moment the doors closed behind me. I stopped walking. Just for a moment. and one tear came. Just one. It was not for me. It was for the girl in the yellow dress who used to call me her safe place. Then I wiped it away. And I never looked back. There is something powerful about silence. Not the silence of a man who has nothing to say. The silence of a man who knows exactly what is coming and has decided to let time do the talking for him. That kind of silence is not empty. It is full. It is patient. It is the quietest form of power there is. After that night, I went back to my life without missing a single step. I want you to understand something about the way I am built. I did not grow what I have by reacting to every painful thing that happened to me. I grew it by keeping my eyes forward no matter what was happening around me. Emotion is human, but discipline is a choice. And I had been choosing discipline every single day since I was old enough to understand that nobody was coming to save me. I had to build my own table, my own room, my own world. And I had. 3 days after the showcase, 2 documents arrived on my desk on the same morning. The first was Mia's contract renewal. Her initial deal with Black Soul Entertainment was coming to its end. Her numbers were good. Her growth had been steady. The renewal was a formality, but every artist had to come in and sign in person. That was company policy. My policy. The second document was a project submission from Kai's management team. The biggest brand collaboration of the year. A campaign that would run across 12 countries and launch the career of whoever was chosen to front it. Kai's team had submitted his name with a great deal of confidence. The kind of confidence that comes from never having been told no by anyone important. Both documents sat on my desk side by side. I read through each one carefully. Then I set them down, straightened them so the edges lined up perfectly, and I pressed the button on my intercom. My assistant's voice came through clearly. I told her to schedule both appointments for the same morning. Same day. Back to back. I stood up and walked to the window. The city stretched out below me, busy and loud and completely unaware of the small quiet moment that was about to happen in this office. I looked at my reflection in the glass for a moment. Clean suit. Simple watch. The same man I had always been. Just with a much bigger view. Behind me on the office door, in clean precise lettering that had been there for 2 years, were 4 words that Mia had never once thought to ask about. Daniel Park, CEO, Black Soul Entertainment. The same company that had held her audition. The same company that had trained her. The same company whose name was on every contract she had ever signed. My intercom buzzed softly. My assistant's voice was calm and professional. She said, "Sir, a Miss Mia and a Mr. Kai are here for their appointments." I walked back to my desk. Sat down slowly. Adjusted my jacket one last time. And I said, "Send them in." They were laughing when they walked in. That is the detail I remember most clearly. Not the expensive clothes or the confident posture or the way Kai had his hand resting casually on Mia's shoulder like she was something he owned. It was the laughter. Easy and careless and completely unaware of where they were standing. The door opened and they stepped inside, still mid-conversation. Kai was saying something and Mia had her head tilted back with a wide smile. The kind of smile I had not seen directed at me in a very long time. Then they saw me. The laughter stopped the way a song stops when the power goes out. Sudden. Complete. The smile on Mia's face did not disappear slowly, it simply vanished. Her eyes moved from my face to the desk to the office around her, and I watched the understanding arrive in stages. Like lights turning on in a dark building, one floor at a time. Kai recovered faster than she did. That is what arrogance does. It protects a person from reality just long enough to make the fall worse. He stepped forward and straightened up to his full height. His voice came out sharp and dismissive. He said he was here for his project confirmation and did not have time for whatever this was. I did not stand up. I did not raise my voice. I simply opened the file on my desk and turned it around so it faced him. 3 contract violations clearly documented. 1 pending lawsuit from a former collaborator. All filed. All verified. All sitting in a neat stack in a folder with his name on the front. I let him read. I gave him time. Then I slid a single sheet across the desk toward him and said, "We will not be renewing your contract. The brand project has been assigned to another artist. Your management team will receive the formal letter by end of day." The confidence left his face the way water leaves a cracked glass. Slowly at first. Then all at once. He opened his mouth twice and closed it both times. There was nothing to say. The numbers did not argue. The documents did not negotiate. And I was not angry or emotional or satisfied. I was simply a man doing his job. Kai looked at Mia once. Then he walked out without another word. The office was very quiet after the door closed. Mia was shaking. I could see it in her hands, the same hands that used to hold mine across a small cafe table. I looked at her for a long moment without speaking. Then I picked up her renewal contract and I said, "I built this company the same way I loved you." In silence. "You just never paid attention." She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. I uncapped my pen. And I signed her renewal. Not because I still loved her. Not to punish her. Not to keep her close. I signed it because my character was never built on how people treated me. It was built on who I decided to be regardless. I slid the signed contract across the desk. Then I looked back at my screen. The meeting was over. She was still standing there shaking and I was already completely calm. Some people spend their whole lives chasing the wrong kind of power. The loud kind. The flashy kind. The kind that needs an audience to feel real. The most powerful thing I did that day was not expose Kai. It was not the signed contract, or the corner office, or the city view behind me. It was the fact that when she finally saw everything, I felt nothing I was not already at peace with. The parking lot was cold and very still. Mia was sitting on a small concrete step near the entrance with her bag on her lap and her eyes on the ground. Kai's car was already gone. Of course it was. Men like Kai are only present when things are going well. The moment a room stops serving them, they find another room. That is the thing about people who are attracted to status. They move toward it and away from it with equal speed and zero loyalty. She was alone. I came through the building doors and walked toward my car the same way I do every evening. Steady pace. No rush. The day was done and everything that needed to happen had happened. I was not thinking about her sitting there. I was thinking about a meeting I had the next morning and whether I had eaten enough that day. Then she said my name. Just once. Quietly. The way you say a word when you are not sure you have the right to say it anymore. I stopped walking. I did not turn around immediately. I stood still for just a moment, not out of cruelty but out of honesty. Because I needed to make sure that what I was about to say came from the right place. Not from old pain. Not from pride. Not from the part of me that had stood in the back of a crowded room and been pointed at like I was something to be ashamed of. I turned around slowly. She was looking at me with eyes that finally understood everything. The audition. The vocal coach. The studio. The apartment. The company name on every contract she had ever signed. It had all landed. All of it. At once. And the weight of it was sitting on her completely. I walked back toward her. Stopped a few steps away. And I said it the way I have always said the things that matter most. Quietly, clearly, and without any performance. I never needed you to know what I had. I just needed you to know what you lost. Take care of yourself, Mia. She did not respond. There was nothing to respond with. I turned around. Walked to my car. Got in. Started the engine. And I drove away without looking in the mirror once. Some people will only understand your value the day they sit in a parking lot watching you leave. By then you are already gone. You are already 3 steps into the next chapter of your life and they are still sitting with the weight of every small decision that led them to that cold concrete step. This is not a story about bitterness. It is not a story about revenge for the sake of pain. It is a story about what happens when a person of real character is underestimated by someone of temporary confidence. Daniel never chased her. He never begged. He never lowered himself to prove his worth to someone who had stopped looking carefully enough to see it. He just kept building. In silence. The way he always had. If this story felt familiar, if you have ever loved someone quietly and been dismissed loudly, then you already know someone like Daniel. Share this with them. They need to see it. And subscribe. Because next week we are telling the story of the man who was fired on a Friday and bought the company by Monday. That story is coming. And you do not want to miss it.